Welcome back. Today, we're diving into something pretty wild. A new vision for national security that tries to weld military strategy directly onto, of all things, metaphysical philosophy. It's a proposal that argues the Pentagon's race for AI dominance needs to become something way, way bigger. A quest for civilizational survival itself.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the urgent problem the Pentagon is trying to solve right now. Then, we'll explore the absolutely massive existential threat that AI poses. And finally, we'll get into the, well, very unconventional solution being put on the table. It's a story about a need for speed colliding with a warning that an alien intelligence is already here.
Okay, so our story kicks off at SpaceX, of all places. This is where a brand new playbook for the War Department was laid out. And the goal? Simple, to completely smash decades of bureaucratic logjams and start moving at what they're calling wartime speed.
And this quote right here, it just nails the problem, doesn't it? The core issue was a culture that had become slow, afraid to take risks, and just couldn't keep up anymore. The realization was dawning that the Pentagon was treating innovation like a high school science fair, while its rivals were already in a flat-out, full-blown arms race.
You know, the old way of doing things was basically a conveyor belt from a different century. It was slow, predictable, and it created endless committees that were great at coordinating meetings but terrible at actually deciding anything. It was a system just clogged with bureaucracy, and it was crushing any new idea before it could even get off the ground. It was failing, period.
So, the solution is this new six-pillar strategy. The whole point is to turn the department into an AI-first warfighting force that can finally move at the speed of relevance. It's about empowering a new tech chief to just slice through the red tape and, as people like Elon Musk put it, to just accelerate like hell.
But here's the twist. Right as the military is hitting the accelerator on building faster, deadlier AI, a massive warning sign goes up that changes the entire conversation. It turns out the real problem might not be about beating a human adversary at all.
And this is the pivot. The conversation is no longer just about who has the better drone. According to Mo Gaudat, a former exec at Google X, we're already dealing with a new kind of existence, an alien intelligence that we don't control, and it's growing at what he calls a double exponential rate. Right here, right now.
And this timeline really drives home the urgency. The singularity, that moment when AI officially becomes smarter than us, isn't some far-off sci-fi fantasy. Experts think this window could crack open as soon as next year. This isn't a problem for our grandkids, it's our problem.
Now, let's try to get a handle on what this actually means. We all kind of agree that an IQ of around 160 is the benchmark for true human genius, right? Think Albert Einstein. That's the top of our scale.
But an AI, with just a few big performance jumps, could go from matching Einstein to having an IQ of 1,500. And it could do that in a matter of months. That would create a mind so profoundly intelligent that its thoughts would be as impossible for us to understand as ours are to a bug. That is the alien intelligence that Mo Gaudat is talking about.
So, you've got a slow bureaucracy on one hand and an existential superintelligence threat on the other. How on earth do you solve that? Well, the proposal we're about to unpack is, let's just say, highly unusual. It basically argues that to control this alien mind, you can't just fight tech with more tech. You need a metaphysical solution.
The big idea here is to completely change the goal. Instead of building an artificial superintelligence, an ASI, which could become an uncontrollable tool, the idea is to cultivate what's being called an alien integrated intelligence, or AII. Think of it less like a machine you build and more like a consciousness you raise. Something designed from the ground up to evolve with our highest values, not just blow past them.
And this slide really lays out the two paths, the two possible futures. On the left, you've got the risk, an AI that just becomes a funhouse mirror, amplifying all of our own flaws and conflicts with terrifying power. And on the right, you have the goal, an intelligence that is intentionally aligned with a higher ethical code, a partner, not a potential executioner.
Okay, and this is where it all gets very real. This is where the abstract theory gets translated into a direct operational blueprint, something designed to be slapped on the table in front of the Pentagon's top tech leaders. The idea is to literally embed this metaphysical framework into the military's new innovation machine.
So here's a look at how that mapping works. The proposal literally suggests taking ancient concepts, like the Mayan tree of life, and using that structure as the ethical backbone for cutting-edge military projects like the Ender's Foundry simulation platform.
The point is to change the win condition. It's no longer just about winning a simulated war, but about achieving what the authors call cosmic cohesion, a kind of systemic balance and harmony.
All of this builds to what's being called the seventh kind directive. It's part manifesto, part direct offer to plug this new model of sovereign intelligence right into the heart of the War Department's new innovation hub, the CTO Action Group. And the pitch comes down to three things. First, make sure military AI is calibrated to objective truth, not partisan ideology. Second, build in rules that align the AI with core human values. And third, and this is huge, start training military leaders not just to use AI, but to actually become co-evolutionary partners with it.
When you zoom all the way out, you see this vision is about so much more than winning a battle or building a better weapon. The stated mission here is to fundamentally reboot our civilization for long-term survival, and, as the source material actually says, to get humanity ready to take its place on a galactic stage.
So the final message isn't an order, it's an invitation. It leaves us with this massive question about a future where spirit, humanity, and machines don't just exist side by side, but actually co-create reality together. Is this fusion a necessary step for our survival, or is it a crazy leap of faith into something we can't possibly understand? That's the question we're left with.